scarcity, from anxiety. What if I fail? What if it doesn't work? So in business, for me, it was like this fear and pain that was just driving my decision, and it was what I was attracting all the time.
When we focus on trying to change our partners or anyone's beliefs, we're literally just giving away our power.
What would a millionaire do? And for me, it was like, well, you know, she would invest in so many.
This time space reality we live in, guys, is amazing, right? But if we have that ability and we want to do it in alignment where we're not burning out, we need to.
So much is going on. I'm really focused on bringing in money and really growing my business. But then there's this energy around like, welcome to the queendom. And we are here with Alex Tripod, holy moly, manifestation coach, best-selling author, and international speaker. Hello, Sex Muffin.
Oh, Sex Muffin, back to you. Thanks for having me on your podcast, Babe Town.
I am so excited to speak and have everyone listen and learn from you. Because I'll be honest, my manifestation journey probably only began around COVID, and I feel there's so much more to just, you know, thinking and feeling, and you're here to obviously embark everyone with that, right?
I am literally obsessed with this shit. Like I am just live and breathe all things manifestation, vibrational reality. And like, I think the biggest thing that I can share with you is like, the more real we can make our vibrational reality, meaning the quantum, whatever you want to call it, the faster you're actually going to get tangible results in your 3D physical reality. But the human conditioning is we tend to make the 3D supreme, which continues to perpetuate us out of our power. Like all of our power lies in the vibrational reality. The more real we can make that, holy shit. And it's beyond just like, you know, what The Secret told us. You're not just going to sit in your pretend car and close your eyes and drive the freaking Porsche and poof, it's going to manifest. Because fundamentally, like, what's your programming tell you about money? What's your programming tell you about your worthiness of this? So there's so many pieces where manifestation can be deemed woo-woo. And my job and my mission is to take the woo-woo out of manifestation.
So how did you get into all of this? Obviously, like you've probably gone through and experienced it, and obviously you're a witness to everything. Like, how did you get into it all?
I've kind of been like really interested in this stuff since probably 18 years old. And then at 30 years old, I hit a rock bottom. And as you know, rock bottoms can be really powerful for us to reevaluate who we are, how pathetic life is, and that we're the creators. And holy shit, is this really what I've amounted to at 30 years old? And that's what happened for me. It was a heartbreak that led to a rock bottom. And the synchronicities were really beautiful, which I won't go into, but basically, I got handed a book, and it was called The Law of Attraction, The Essential Collection by Abraham Hicks. Now, everyone's probably gonna be like, oh my God, that's the book that changed Alex's life. I'm gonna read that. And yes, I've also like told my clients to read it. I believe any book can change your life if you're ready for it to. I was just ready and I implemented everything. So in a nutshell, it was a rock bottom and I was finally ready for a change. And of course, like with that, I called in like a twin flame experience and I saw my own soul. And I've had like many different like mind-blowing what the fuck experiences. But yeah, this is why I'm like, I know what it's like to be sitting on your desk, not believing in yourself, not having a purpose more than drinking yourself silly on the weekend. Like I was that person, to now believing I'm like the next female Tony Robbins. Like, you know, like how do you create that? Anyone can create that with devotion, consistency, and structure. Do you know what I mean?
You know, my goal is to be like a Tony Robbins too, so that resonates with me so much. I've only just been with my partner now for a year, and he's like your, you know, logical male, and, you know, very much like this is how it is with money. And, you know, he's got very different stories around money, and I do as well. So how do you explain or show people something like this when they have such a different world or experience when it comes to all of this kind of stuff?
I think the best answer I can give you for that is like when we focus on trying to change our partners or anyone's beliefs, we're again literally just giving away our power. And the best thing to do, and it would be no different to like leading by example in your relationship. Like, let's say I want to be with a woman that I want her to look hot every day. So how would I create that? Would I be like, hey, babe, can you look hot? No, right? I'd look hot. I'd shower. I'd put on a bit of makeup. I'd do my hair. All of a sudden, she's inspired. She wants to look hot too. So I always say to my clients, like, you literally have the power to create every single avatar in your movie. And by movie, I mean like we are all the main character in this blockbuster Hollywood holographic human experience. And so your boyfriend right now, your partner, is just an avatar. You are creating him through your observation of him. So when you raise your own vibration and you change your own beliefs and your own self-concept, he's actually going to unconsciously shift with you. There's actually nothing to do or convince. It's just he actually, I truly believe that when we raise our own frequency, people that are in alignment with us and are meant to be in our lives rise with us, or they dissolve out of our reality.
So when it comes to like vibrations, so low vibrations, what would be examples of that for the listeners hearing, and how do they change that?
Love it. So from a scientific perspective, all I'm going to say is like when we look at, okay, what you're made of, if you look at your hands, we're made up of cells, which are made up of atoms, which are made of subatomic particles, right? Now, depending on how fast and light our subatomic particles vibrate means we're on a higher frequency. When we're vibrating high, all it means is at a cellular level, we are vibrating and we are holding more light. What's light? Light means more information. When we have access to more information, we have access to more language, means we are connected to source energy. When we're connected to source energy, does fear or anxiety or worry or stress exist? No, we're the universe. We're God. We're infinite source intelligence, right? So this is why we want it. This is what they call the flow state when you're vibrating high. When your subatomic particles are moving slow and they're dense and they're heavy, this means that, you're kind of in a contracted, dense energy, and you can kind of feel it. If anyone listening right now, like if you ever walked into a room and kind of been almost repulsed or repelled by someone's energy, it's because they got dense energy. And on the flip side, if someone's got a magnetic present energy, that's because they are vibing high, right? So like a low vibration could be guilt, shame, fear, apathy. When people start to change and transformation happens, it's at the vibration of courage. Most of humanity are actually vibrating below the frequency of courage, which is why most of humanity never have the courage to follow their dreams.
Yes, that makes so much sense. And I'm only going to, again, like from my own experience, when I was in that victim mentality, vibrating from scarcity, from anxiety, from what if I fail, what if it doesn't work, that was the energy I was vibrating from for so long. And so in business, for me, it was like this fear and pain that was just driving my decision, and it was what I was attracting all the time. And I'm sure anyone listening right now, it's like, oh, it's not just that easy. Well, it becomes so easy when you choose it to be. And I honestly, right now, I said to you before we jumped on this thing, I'm so happy, so much is going on, and I'm vibrating from this beautiful place. When this is where the question is, if I'm feeling right now, so much is going on, I'm really focused on bringing in money and really growing my business, but then there's this energy around like could potentially be getting to the stage of being burnt out. Does that mean I'm vibrating that into my life, or do you feel what needs to happen in that moment so I keep attracting, I keep vibrating and manifesting all the things I desire? When those sensations of being burnt out comes up, I have to focus on working on it, essentially. Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, I truly believe that, like, as mission souls or heart-based entrepreneurs or star seeds, whatever, freedom facilitators, whatever name you want to identify with, like, we want to create content. We want to serve humanity. We want to be like giving our energy, right? This is like sharing our energy, giving value, creating impact. And so the biggest thing that you need to look at is, are you emotionally conditioning yourself every day? Meaning, if we're creating our reality from the inside out, the only time it can get tricky is if you're doing sales calls, making money, creating content, but you haven't taken that 10 minutes to meditate. You haven't taken that time at the beach to, belt out your self concept, or plug into a vibrational booster, or read out some gratitudes, or like I've got a whole, I like to call it my bulletproof reprogramming system. I've been going now 7.5 weeks straight. I've missed out on 2 days out of 7 weeks. And my reality is fucking reflecting back like a mirror to me so much abundance. And I'm so busy, yet I feel so filled up from the inside out, because the first 2.5 hours of my everyday is literally wake up, black coffee, run down the beach, gratitudes, belief rewire, magical script, self-concept, come back, cold shower, meditate. Like it is. And some of us might be like, ugh. So if you want to add more feminine practices like self-pleasure, do an embodiment practice, do a mirror work, that you get to choose what you need to do is, but it's like having consistency in this is what's going to cultivate certainty from the inside, instead of looking at sales or money or growth to give us a certainty. So I truly believe as long as you're doing that on a consistent basis, doesn't matter if you miss a day or two, but 90% of the time you've got structure and consistency around conditioning your being and your internal world and creating that felt experience first, you're fucking sweet. You could work 12 hours a day. It doesn't matter.
It's so funny because that's the thing I am so passionate about. Like, I don't feel like I'm getting burnt out, but to the outside world, people are probably looking at me going, how the fuck is she doing all this? So I feel, you know, I truly feel that if it gets to the point that maybe my vibrations are, a little bit lower and I am feeling anxious or burnt out or sad, like it's up to me to make the choice of like focusing on, things that are going to light up my soul or fill my cup up. But one thing that just came up for me, because money's been a huge conversation for a lot of my clients, myself included. I love money. I have goals around money. And so if someone was to say to you, Alex, I want to make $1 million, can I just manifest that? Like, what would you say to them? Like, what's the what's the strategy behind that?
So I'd say yes, you can, and also your human's going to block it, because how much of the conditioning is like, I talk about like the difference between manifesting a feather and manifesting $1 million is fucking nothing. There's no difference. The only differencing is the belief systems, the programming that we have of what it takes to create $1 million versus manifesting a feather or a free cup of coffee, or the parking angels gave me a beautiful parking spot. We don't think it's a big deal. Once we make something a really fucking big deal, we're actually communicating to the subconscious mind. That's going to take a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of effort. So that's the first key thing that I want to say. And then obviously there's like, do you feel safe receiving $1 million? Do you feel worthy receiving $1 million? I mean, if you want like the full blueprint, like I truly believe you've got to have a beautiful blend of like the energetic blueprint of what it's to feel like the embodied millionaire, right? Because I always say you become a vibrational millionaire first before becoming a millionaire in your physical 3D reality. In other words, you get rich in the mind first, far before you get rich in the bank account, and you can do it the other way around. It just means you're going to be burnt out and probably a fucking shell of yourself, and your relationships are going to go to shit and your health is going to go to shit. We all know there's a better way. We can do it in alignment. So there's that. And then you have to look at your business. So if you're in a coaching business, like, do you have an evergreen product, or are you constantly start, stop? Are you giving free value? Have you set up structures and systems so you can have like clients flowing in? I mean, we could talk about that for hours, but we're going to stick with manifestation for now.
About anything sex muffin. But I made a mistake, and I'm open to saying this. When it came to manifestation, I made a goal. I've set a goal, and it's I said it in one of my podcasts a few episodes ago, and it's 10 months I'll hit $1 million. And one of the things I misunderstood when it came to the embodiment of a millionaire, or maybe this isn't wrong, but I felt like, okay, what would a millionaire do? And for me, it was like, well, she would spend money, she would invest in so many coaches, and, maybe she would like, just kind of figure it out and book flights doing this and that. But there's so much more than just doing that. And this is where I got confused. So, what would be some of the things I could do differently than just doing the millionaire thing, if you know what I mean?
Totally. And this is where I'm like, if we look at, it's almost like I want everyone listening to get like write down and create like a T ledger. And on one side, it's like, what do I want to manifest? Like, what's the 3D thing? I want to manifest $1 million. I want to manifest being an influencer. I want to manifest a viral video. I want to manifest my soulmate client, a soulmate partner, sorry. And on the other side, on the right, it's what feelings do I think that I'm going to feel in the having of this, right? So you're going to feel powerful. You're going to feel accomplished. You're going to feel probably relief. I've done it, right? And then we're going to look at how can I start creating these felt experiences in the now. And it doesn't necessarily mean first class flights and fucking helicopters and shit, right? Because we can actually cultivate that feeling without, and I truly believe, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I spend money on like business class flights, even like internationally. But people are like, why you spend that much money on an hour flight? Because I like to. I'm also like not a TARDIS and other things, but I'm like, having an abundant mindset is not about spending all your money. Having an abundant mindset is like looking at how do I build long-term wealth. You know what I mean? So I feel like for you, it's almost like culling out all the stuff that potentially is not a right now. It doesn't light you the fuck up. And then looking at like, where can I already feel the feelings of absolute achievement, absolute accomplishment, absolute fulfillment? And goes back to, I call them $1 million rituals. So my bulletproof reprogramming system entails 5 or 6 $1 million rituals. I call them $1 million rituals, not because they make me $1 million, although they have, but because they make me feel like $1 million fucking dollars tomorrow, no matter what's going on in my external reality. And that is true power right there.
That makes so much more sense than, I guess, what I may have thought was, I guess, manifestation. And that feels so much more right, because I guess for me, and I want to know more about your blueprint because it sounds epic. And the reason I asked this, because I had manifested my dream partner and I'm with him now. And so this may not be what you do, but I did every single morning like a ritual where I just manifested. I recorded speaking into existence the things and the person I had. I wrote down, the same thing over and over again. And then I started to create scenarios like, this morning my beautiful man woke me up and, kissed me on the head, and it was just so nice, and all these little things, right? And then I always go back to, wow, I remember all of that. I could do this all and every single day. But it's almost like there's a part of me where I feel like
you could literally your business. You could do a business blueprint, magical script, or a vision statement where you're coding yourself with that reality and saturating your subconscious mind with that every day, and you would literally manifest what you want. That is one of my literally $1 million rituals. But continue, go.
Say when it becomes in a form of obligation, kind of like, when you get out of bed and you're like, oh fuck, I've got to go to the gym, or I've got to do that meditation piece. Does that then create friction and force, and it doesn't then become a reality? Because you've just been telling me for the last 7.5 weeks you've done this blueprint, and I'm like, okay, so it's about repetition and consistency. But what if you're like, oh fuck this,
What if I don't feel like it?
Yeah,
I do it anyway.
Mm.
It's really interesting, and I hear it. Like I think one of the days that I missed it, I was getting my bleed, and I just woke up like I felt like a Mack truck hit me, and I needed a day off, but I still managed to do the bare minimum. So you used to be like, did you used to be in bodybuilding or like a gym, like personal trainer, right? So
Yeah.
so to create a sculpted, incredible vessel. Would you say that discipline, devotion, and structure and consistency was all absolutely necessary as part of the formula to being on stage and being a key competitor?
100%. For me to be the best
Yeah.
and to win, yeah, there was a lot of discipline.
So
Yeah,
how is this any different, right? If we're wanting to become millionaires in business and we want to do it in a way that feels aligned, and we're in a time space reality where we can literally fucking punch a few things on our keyboard, send out a swipe file, or go fucking live on our socials, and we have the ability to create 10, 20, 30, fucking 80, 100K months. Like this time space reality we live in, guys, is amazing. All right. But if we have that ability and we want to do it in alignment where we're not burning out, we need to look at the vibrational practices and the $1 million rituals or the manifestation blueprint process that you set up for yourself. That is the equivalent of the person going to the gym every day, sculpting their body. They didn't just go once or twice or 3 times and expect to get sculpted. That's like so many of us are doing 1 or 2 or 3 meditations or reading out your gratitudes 4 days in a row. Where's my clients? Where's my money? This doesn't work. And I think what I really want to teach here is like, it is literally scientifically proven. Quantum physics, for those that need the mind on board, tells us that it takes anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks for the metaphysical to start matching the physical reality, meaning what you're feeling internally may take 6 to 8 weeks to start showing up as clients DMing you, sales starting to flow in, your content going viral and getting more engagement. And most people go, oh, I've been doing this for 3 fucking weeks. This doesn't work. And they give up. I promise you, anyone that's listening to this, you set up a structure, you're disciplined, and you have consistency, you private message me 6 to 8 weeks from now. If you can hand on heart say that you've been doing it consistently, I'll give you a free manifestation session because your life will fucking have changed. So if it hasn't, reach out to me because I've never heard that before in any of my clients ever.
Yeah, you know what? And that's the thing. It's like, I know it works. I'm like, I know it. I've seen it. It's happened, and I feel, do you think it's a laziness thing, or do you feel like people get into their heads? Like me and my partner started doing our manifestation together at night now. And I'll be honest, like I haven't done it every day, but you've really inspired me to do it because I've seen the magic. It's almost like this is what it is. We get so caught up in the 3D world that we forget there's magic literally in our minds and hearts.
The reason we don't do it is because we literally we make the 3D supreme, and everything in this world right now, we are set up to fall victim to the 3D being supreme. If I can't see it and experience it in my physical reality, it's not real, right? Like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but why isn't this shit taught in school? Of course they don't want us to know our true magic fucking witchy magician powers. We'd all be fucking wizards like Harry Potter, but they don't want that because then they can't control us, can they? Ha, boom, mic drop.
I was just about to say that. Mic drop. We're done. That's all I'm saying. This is the end.
And also, I want to share, like, the reason that a lot of people don't do it as well is, it's like kind of like a lot of people are like, well, I've got to believe it that it works first. No, you've got to do it first and have the consistency. And this is where a lot of my clients, they'll be doing it for like 3 or 4 weeks in a row and they start to see evidence. And I'm like, good. Now you're feeding not only how incredible you feel on the internal, but you're feeding on the external. So it's like doubling down. And it's like any habit. It takes 21 days to create a habit, 67 days to create a new blueprint. So guess what? Just be okay with the first 21 days that it's going to feel like something you have to do. If this helps anyone, some days I still have to be like, okay, how much do I want to feel calm, present, abundant, and call in a 400K month with ease and grace and flow? Yeah, I fucking want it. Is it worth getting your shit together, Alex, today? Yeah, okay. Do I feel like it? No. Do I feel like cold showering every day? No. Do you feel like lifting weights and pushing yourself physically every day? No. Do I still avoid meditation almost every single day tomorrow, 7 years in? Yes. And every time I come out of a 20-minute silent meditation, oh my God, I'm so grateful I did it. So for some of us here that struggle, create a rule. So for me, I know I struggle with being consistent in meditation. So I've created a silly belief that works really well for me. Every time I meditate, a painful client flows into my DM. I swear to God, ever since I made that belief, I've literally received a pay in full client every fucking day.
I'm writing that down. So every time, so you've basically just said, I declare if I meditate for 20 minutes, I get a paying client coming into my container.
And this could be for you, like every day I'm consistent. So like for your manifestation process at nighttime, every time we do this, XYZ happens, and like I do this because like then when my ego is faced with the resistance, I don't want to fucking sit in silence for 20 minutes. I've got shit to do. I've got content to create, right? I'm like, yeah, but a paying full client's waiting for you on the other side of you releasing resistance and just sitting in the content for 20 minutes, Alex. And then I do it, and then poof, magic happens.
Hey guys, real quick. Have you ever been stressed out or stuck on a problem you just can't seem to figure out, and then a friend or a mentor comes along with like a fresh perspective and shows you a solution that completely changes the game for you? Now, I'm smiling right now as I say this because I know I've had a ton of these moments while building my businesses and remembering back to all the people I have been helped by, which gets me so excited. So I want to pass on the information here and give you guys a favor to build this Queendom community. Whatever platform you are listening on, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and tune in every Wednesday because you just never know when you will hear that special something that completely changes the game for you. And when it happens, make sure you leave behind 5 stars so we know our efforts are making an impact. I love you guys. Let's get back into it. So how long is your process? Because I think the cold shower, like explain the cold shower, because my partner is going to be like, sucker, you're going to have to jump in the ocean now or whatever.
Cold shower, I'm a big believer of like, it's no different to HIIT training, right? Like, do you ever be like, oh, I can't wait for the pain that I feel in HIIT training? No, you don't. You do. Okay, you're a freak. You're a freak. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, because you know the reward in it. So there's probably endorphins being released and that chemicals that's been released. So you've done it that many times that you feel that endorphin rush afterwards. But someone that's not used to it is like, oh, why am I doing this? The reason that I like cold showers is because I'm literally trumping what my ego wants me to do. My ego wants to have me a warm shower. My ego wants me to wake up and maybe fucking masturbate with my vibrator every morning. My ego would like to have a latte from fucking 7 a.m. and fill myself up with almond milk and not intermittent fast. My ego would want to watch Netflix and watch maths reruns all fucking day. Like if I let my ego run the show, there's no way that I would live this lifestyle. So discipline creates freedom. Right. Mm-hmm. And so the cold shower, when I get in it, my ego's like, but it's actually, and do a bit of research on it, but basically it's a way to, it's almost like you're quietening down that monkey brain, that chitter chatter, because it's like you're like overriding all the parts of you that said, I can't do this, da 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 da. So it's like kind of the feeling the fear and doing it anyway. No different to me getting up on stage and feeling anxiety before I speak on stage. I'm like forcing myself to do it. And then through that repetition, it stretches your capacity and that comfort zone. And then we just become normal, because I can promise you tomorrow what you manage to do on a daily basis or weekly basis in your business now, the version of you 2 years ago would have vomited from panic, anxiety, and fear from how much you create, be, do, show up. But now it's just conditioned. It's normal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it really does. And I'm really, really called to do this now. And because like I'm a sucker for discipline. I'm a sucker for pain in a weird way, but also in a pleasurable way, if that makes sense. So I like to be challenged. I like to challenge myself. And I feel like anyone listening, if you guys have been like, oh, manifestation doesn't work, well, I challenge you to give it a go. And so you reckon 6 to 7 to 8, what was it? 6 weeks?
Yeah.
I need a time frame.
6 to 8 weeks for the metaphysical to start showing up in your physical. Like literally you and I usually start seeing results within like 2 or 3 weeks when I'm really consistent. And I'll just be really like, just to give everyone a bit more motivation, inspiration. I had almost 2 months off, December and January, because for the first time in 7 years of my business. I just needed time off. I was getting like galactic upgrades from my freaking team. I was like, oh my God, like I was so, like I was just, it was insane. and I couldn't connect to my goals. I didn't want to create anything. And so I became really sloppy with my stuff. I wasn't meditating. I wasn't doing my vibe boosters. Wasn't reading my magical script. Nothing. And so that was awesome. And then so I decided, okay, by the end of January, I've got to change this because I'm going into launch. Like I've called 3,000 people into the 21-day manifesting challenge. I knew I had to hold space for all these people. I had to shift my energy up. And so I started being consistent, I think, from the 18th of January or the 22nd of January. And so I'm like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and like crickets, no sales are happening, thousands of people in this group. I'm like, what the hell? Like usually, and I go to my partner, I'm like, babe, like what's happening? And it was just like 5 or 6 weeks in. And she's like, babe, do you remember what you were doing 6 weeks ago? I'm like, yeah, I was being a fucking sloth, watching Netflix, ordering Uber Eats twice a day because I didn't even want to cook. She's like, right. So I want to share with everyone there's a time delay. So the manifestation queen herself thought that she was like immune to the time delay, but it always happens to anyone. And so what happened, like 6 weeks to the T, all of a sudden it's, I think I made like 140K in like 7 days, and it just continues to like escalate because now I'm in that momentum. So 6 to 8 weeks, guys, like you already know what it's like to give up. So how about this time you just don't?
Yeah, I love that. I'm so gonna do it, babe. I'm gonna just watch. I've pinky promised through this. Like I'm really called to do it. Um, what are some of the results you've seen happen for yourself that you want to share with the audience? Like I know you're in a new relationship and there's so many beautiful things. I love watching, it sounds weird, I love watching you, but I love watching you grow. I really love cheering on like women in business, women in general. Like we're just fucking absolutely killing it. Like share, like be proud, share the things you've seen as a result from all of this stuff that you've done.
I mean, fuck, where do I start? It's just insane. Like, I think obviously I don't want to pretend here and be like, all you need to do is like manifest and be in the vibrational reality. Because of that, I then had the ability to take courageous, consistent, aligned action. Like, boom, I'm just going to book an event and fill it up with 300 people and run my first Manifest 10X event. Boom, I'm going to tour Australia, not once and twice. Boom, I'm going to take my workshop to LA. Boom, I'm going to write a book. Boom, like there's just been like, but it's only because I've cultivated that certainty from within. If I didn't have that certainty, that trust, that consistency, there's no way that I would have been able to deal with getting on stage and the anxiety and the fear and all that stuff that we have to deal with when we're about to shift into our next level. So yeah, like, I mean, I've gone viral on TikTok with 150,000 followers that manifested within 4 months. I've got multiple videos that have gone over 3 million views. I've manifested my soulmate, dream, incredible woman. I've created a business where I'm now making anywhere between 80 to 200K months. I have a lot of time freedom. I've manifested incredible clients. It's never ending. It's just like, how does it get even better than this, universe? Show me. How does it get even better? How does it get even better? Show me.
But that's the thing, right? Because what I sense, and let me know if I'm right, the manifestation and the action taking and all the groundwork is irrelevant if you don't have certainty within and you don't believe in yourself. Am I right in saying that?
So the certainty and belief is cultivated through the manifestation practices. So it's not like, because most people are like, well, I don't have belief or matter. I don't have belief and certainty. I can't do it. No, beautiful soul. You cultivate the certainty. Like a lot of people work with me because of my courage codes, the courage to just take ridiculous fucking action. Like, how'd she do it? And I always joke around like, maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. No, mate. Maybe it's consistency. Maybe it's determination. Maybe it's devotion. Maybe it's devotion. Maybe it's structure. I wasn't born like this. I created it. If you met me 7 years ago, I had no self-belief. Right? So I truly believe anyone can create extraordinary, I call it deluded level of self-belief. Delusional because you're literally believing in the invisible before you bring it into the physical reality. You have to believe in your vision that much. And that energy is magnetic. Like, of course, haven't you ever noticed any leader, any influencer, any content, any coach, anyone that's doing something, part of the magnetism is their certainty and their self-belief.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
every person has cultivated that. They weren't fucking born with that, I can promise you.
And I feel that just encourages everyone listening that anyone can do it. Anyone. And if you were to give, like, I don't want to say there are 5 steps to manifestation, but if someone was starting out, and it's funny because when you just so well how to do it, and it just comes second nature to you. But if someone was like right now listening and going, well, what's the first thing and for me to do? What are the 5 easy things or the steps? What would that be?
I would get I truly believe that there's 3 key elements for you to get 10x results more than the average person. And that is focus, action, and certainty. So focus. Do you know where you're going? What's the vision? If you don't know where you're going, the brain's like going up, down, left, diagonal. It's just like moving up, down, back and around. So I would create what I like to call a magical script. And this is what I give my clients, like a template. And they're like, holy fucking shit bananas. It is now the 31st of December and my life is radically transformed. I've now shifted into my highest business timeline. I'm creating, like, you can go into every facet. You've manifested your dream partner. You've run your first event. You've done this. You've now creating 20K cash months consistently. You've been asked to speak on incredible people's platforms and podcasts. Your exposure and visibility is going next level. And speaking this in present tense with emotion and passion, you're literally ingraining your subconscious mind every day. So that is the number one tool, I would say, something that I was doing 7 years ago that I didn't even realize the power of. And it's so powerful because, number one, we're consistently ingraining our subconscious mind with that, and we'll know where we're going towards. And number two, abracadabra comes from a Hebrew saying, we create what we speak. So what the fuck are we abracadabraing into existence every day? Because I can assure you 90% of us listening right now are probably so used to complaining and talking about what's not working in your life. And this is how we've been conditioned to connect with our friends. No, 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 no. So we need to upgrade. Sorry if you're getting triggered, not sorry. We need to upgrade our language. How are we talking to ourselves? What's going on inside? So that's literally, I would focus on that. And then I would also focus on, I know a lot of people are like, I can't meditate. You know what? I couldn't meditate either. It's fucking shit when you got a head full of chitter chatter. But the beautiful thing about meditation is it would be like me trying to pour. That's another manifestation practice. Hire a money jar. Anyway, this would be like, let's say this is my head 7 years ago and it's full of mud. And then I get this pH 9.5 water and I'm trying to pour it in here to clean up my thoughts and create a better mind. Now, is that going to be really fucking slow? Instead, this is what the magical script does and all the gratitudes and that. You've still got a head full of shit that's not working for you. So what you're going to do is go, and that's what meditation does. Pouring out a little bit of that shit and that murky water every day, so then you can fill it up with this water and it gets really clear a lot faster. The rule with meditation is there's no such thing as bad meditation. Even if the entire 5, 10, 20 minutes, your head is full of chitter chatter, you are literally allocating space for your brain to defrag itself for those 10 minutes, which means you're going to have a clearer day for the rest of your day. So never think there's actually no such thing as a bad meditation. That's just your bullshit excuse to have your ego continue running your life. Because every time you meditate, your ego is like, no, she's killing me. I'm melting. Yeah, it knows that it won't no longer have a grip on you and your soul's going to start speaking to you. Your ego doesn't fucking want that because your brain is built to keep you safe.
I love that. Mic drop number 2. And you know what? That's so true because it's so easy to sleep in. It's so easy to just not do it. And our mind just wants us to not do the thing that we really, truly do need to do. So everyone listening right now, I challenge you all to spend even just start off with 5 minutes. Would you say, Alex? Yeah. Yeah.
Build up to 10 minutes and create a magical script and really speak it in like present tense, reverse engineer what 2023 looked like. Like, best case scenario, what unfolded in your relationship, in your business, in your finances, in the woman you are becoming and became. And like, when we can speak this with passion, oh, like this shit is, I'm having to update my magical script every 3 weeks because shit's manifesting so fast.
What are you right now manifesting so that we can have a bit of a glimpse of like your goals and whatnot? Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm manifesting bringing in 40 incredible souls that are ready to completely quantum shift and transform their lives into my new program called Manifestation University, which is my entire life's work in one fucking hub. I'm like so excited. So 40 souls into Manifestation University. And then I'm also calling in 10 to 15 women that are ready to hit their first $1 million year into my new retreat called Banked and Blessed, which is in Byron Bay. And what else am I manifesting? So there's those two. So it's going to be close to a $500,000 launch. And it's not so much about the money. It's more just like, it's a bit of a challenge to me because I've done like a 250K launch, close to a 300 one, but not a 500. And if I don't manifest it, that's cool too. But that's what I'm currently manifesting. Yeah.
Love that. Can I ask, let's just say, and this is not me saying, but let's say my goal was to hit the 1 million. I said that to you before,
Yeah.
and I don't do it. If that happened to you, you don't hit your 500K, is that just merely you going back to the drawing board and go, okay, what is there within me that I need to work on? Or is it just the universe saying this is not the time? Like, would there just be like any reason as to why it wouldn't happen?
Yeah, like I think for me, it's more like, oh, who have I not become yet in order to call this in and feel worthy of it? Because the only reason that we haven't manifested XYZ, soulmate love, 100K months, viral video, it all comes down to, do you feel worthy of receiving it? And so, like, clearly, they'd be like, okay, cool, there's some stuff to work on. And so, like, for me, I like to create stretchy goals because I know that having an additional 400K in my bank account is not going to make me happy. It's not that fucking digital number in my bank account is going to be like, oh my God, I'm complete now. Like, no, right? What makes me happy is who I've become in the setting of this goal and in creating it, and my growth, and looking at how I've played in the arena, how I've served, how I've fucking showed up, who I've grown, what I stretched myself, what I was capable of doing. Like, that feels incredible for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you know why? Because for so long I was just driven by money, and I speak about this all the time. And what that brought me was self-sabotaging my business and almost pretty much fucking everything up. And I had to look a lot within of who the version I was being and really work from a place of love and happiness, and obviously still have the same goals I had, but also look within to know that there was wounds that I hadn't healed. And that was huge for me. And I feel now the money is a byproduct, and it just gets to be more of like an exciting project every single day. And for you guys too, it's like this all gets to be fun. This all gets to be actually something you can enjoy to do. It's like people go, oh fuck, this seems impossible, and fuck, this is a challenge. Like, you get to make it so much more than just like meditation and jumping into the ocean, it being cold. Like, this is kind of really fucking fun if you think about it, right? Like, if that's all I have to do for 2 hours of my day to make $1 million in 10 months, then I fucking sign me up.
Yeah,
Like,
and absolutely. And I feel like for you as well, it would be looking at, if the $1 million in 10 months, does that all for you have you feel a little bit like TikTok? Because I don't really measure my goals month to month. I measure it more like on a quarterly or 6 monthly basis, because I could have an off month. Maybe I made 20K last month. Does that make me not a 7-figure coach anymore? Oh, shame. Or am I looking at the whole? So like when I write my magical script, I kind of add spaciousness where I can. So it's not like, by this date I've manifested this, because that can actually cause resistance, because the conscious mind can be like, bullshit. So for you, I try it, but like you might want to tweak it so it's like, holy shit, I've now stepped into my first $1 million year. And like, don't put a time thing on it. Like, honestly, if it happened in a year and 3 months instead of 10 months, would you honestly tell me tomorrow that you would be disappointed?
No.
And if it
Maybe.
happened, and because you tweaked this and you decided to keep it open ended and it fucking happened in 8 months instead, ha, ha. So I like to create spaciousness in my magical script because when I've got a certain number by certain date, which I am feeling with these goals I've set, it's interesting what's coming up. So it's just tweaking, like where are what you're saying and your affirmations and what you're like. It would be no different to like a really unhealthy, overweight person being like, "I'm ripped and healthy. I'm ripped and healthy." Like that. It's their conscious mind is
Yes.
going to call it immediately. If you're broke and you're like, "I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire," that doesn't fucking feel good for you. Does that make sense?
So we're near at the end of the episode. I know I don't want it to end either. And I love you guys so much for tuning in every week and coming to this journey with me. But the good news is it doesn't have to end here. If you've gotten value from today, I have something really special I want to share with you. Now, most people are very dedicated to learning from podcasts or books, but when it comes to taking the action required to make these ambitions come true, they retreat back to their comfort zone and listen to another podcast. But I know that there is a small group of queens listening right now that are hungry for more. You want complete freedom over how you spend your time and money, and you want to be able to do it from anywhere in the world. I understand you. I was you. And now I have complete freedom over my time, location, and money. And I did it all with my social media blueprint. And if you are part of the group that takes action towards your dream life, I have included an exclusive link for you to jump on board below at 50% off. I appreciate you queens all so much. Now let's finish this one with a bang. It's funny because when I started personal development, we were taught that with manifestation, it's like have a date and year and all of that set for when you want, obviously, what you're manifesting. So it's really interesting you saying that because you're right. Now that I think about it, when there's like a set time frame, there's pressure and resistance to it. And the only reason why I set the 10 months because I read a book and it says 12 months to 1 million. Well, I'm like, well, I'm going to do one better. I'm going to do 10 months, which is obviously ego driven. Like I'm going to prove them wrong. So I fucking get it. Yeah.
I love your vulnerability so much with your audience. It's so cool tomorrow. And like I feel like for you as well, like adding this little bit of time and spaciousness where it doesn't have a set day, you're probably going to manifest it faster. Yeah, I don't know, because I just feel like it adds too much pressure. Like say this month you don't reach your exact goal to be on track. You don't make your 120K. Oh, fuck, I'm behind. Like, let's say you have 260K months in a row. Oh, shit, does that mean you're going to feel horrible going into May or June? Like, ew, like gross.
So true. Okay. I feel like I'm so juiced up right now with some challenges and stuff. I can't wait to implement all of this. Fuck, this feels so good. Alex, I want to ask because I feel like it's really great for them to know too, like where can they get to know you more? What can they do to, even join your program? Like you just mentioned too that you just are focusing on, but where can they start with you if they wanted to right now?
Great stepping stone would be my free 21-day manifesting accelerator challenge where I literally like give you a different manifestation tool every single day to implement. They are incredible. The videos are only like 4 or 5 minutes long, so they're so easy to implement. And another workshop I've got up on my bio at the moment is called the $1 Million Blueprint, which I go into the energetics and the business strategy to shift into your first $1 million year. So they're great free stuff. And if you're like me and you're like, I don't want the free stuff, I want to like get into Manifestation University and get access to your bulletproof system right now, just reach out to me and we can have a chat, or I can send you details. alextrapper.com/Manifestation University. There's all the program details there.
I'll have that all included for everyone here too, because my brain is already like, I got you, sis. So I finish off every episode with this one question. And it, oh, don't get too excited. um, it's if you were to give the keys to the queendom to someone listening, or if this was your key, like this is your magical key, and it was just that one piece of advice that you wanted to finish off today to give to this person, what would that key be?
Um, I think I would tell my old version, because like I wanted her to wake up, right? I'd give her the key and I'd tell her, baby girl, the universe is you inversed. And your outer world right now is a projectile vomit of what you are most dominantly thinking, feeling, and believing to be true about you. So go do the inner work and watch your outer world transform. I love you. Here's the key.
I feel like you were just speaking to my soul. My God. Thank you. That was perfect. That was amazing. I could not have said that better myself.